Hi, man. What's going on, good people? We just had the pre-talk before the recording. Usually we try to hit the recording beforehand, but you caught us at the tail end of it. Spike Lou and myself
Mm,
just catching up on the week. But now we're doing the same with y'all. Welcome back to another week in the books where authenticity meets real conversation, not to mention accountability. That is the name of the game for
absolutely.
2025. We just had chapter 15 marked down. We here for chapter 16 this week. Spike Lou, how you feeling, man? We a couple
I'm
weeks into
good.
the new year.
Yeah,
January
man.
already flying. We already about to be at that point where it's gonna be March and April, and like, damn, the new year moving fast.
Man,
Here we are.
facts. Looking up, it's February already, like the month halfway over. It feel like we just started the new year, the month halfway over, but I'm feeling good. So strong start to the year. I want to keep it up all year, do some new and exciting things this year, man. So I'm looking forward to it. What about you?
Doing well, man. It's a busy week, but I'm doing well. A lot of good things going on. Busy in a good way, so I'm not mad at it at all. Uh, it's funny because our conversation today, we're gonna be talking about just kind of maintaining and really call to action. Call to action for all the things that we say we want to do. We'll kind of revisit chapter one, which was the list. But everything's well in the world, man. I can't complain. I was looking at, I was trying to see if there was anything out there in the world that was worth discussing outside of just growth stuff.
What'd you
And
come
one
up
thing
with?
that's been cracking, it's not really worth discussing, and not for what's going on, but one thing that I've been finding really interesting is um, this Jim Jones Cameron back and forth,
It's
and not
crazy
because
how
of not
much
because of first
it's
of all,
crazy how much we think alike, man. Because I was gonna ask you that if you didn't say that. That was
yeah.
that was literally what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, so this is an official spinoff of On Deck. So I guess we can bring the little hip hop conversation in here before we get rolling into the main topic. But so it's not really for me about what's going on because whatever. It's to the point, and there's been plenty of instances over the years where it's like I don't know if they were ever really friends.
It don't
Like
look
I'm
like it.
sure they
It don't
were,
seem
but
like it.
it yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that. This is nasty. This is nasty. This is why the locks every single time something like this happens, you got more respect for the locks because
Facts.
I'm sure they're grown men. I don't know they have their differences, but they treat that like a brotherhood. You would never know about it. But my thing is the behavior part of it. That's what kind of gets alarming when you become a grown man and you look at grown men older than you and they act in a
Late
certain way. It's
40s.
like
Late
late 40s,
40s
about to be
grown,
50.
man.
And it's just like, yo, man, what y'all doing? Now, more so Jim than Cam, because Cam gonna be Cam, and it is what it is. No pun intended. But Jim. Jim out here moving nasty. I'm like, damn, if I was 2 years away from 50, man, I really hate to be moving like this. Like it
Well,
just
you well, I
looked
thought
corny.
wait, I didn't so it escalated really quickly, and that goes to the point of what you said about them really never being friends.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
like
think
I
that's friends.
I was looking and asking people, I was like, well, where did this start? And then I was pointed towards the 50 Cent interview. And I watched the 50 or a little bit of the 50 interview. I ain't see it all. But it wasn't really nothing disrespectful, I feel like, to Jimmy in that interview. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if
don't
you
know.
seen it.
I didn't see the actual clip. I know that apparently it was about when 50 and Kim had their thing going on, 50
Hmm.
playing chess, had Jim come out to perform balling, or We Fly High, I think this is the official name, perform that. And obviously it looked funny because that's my man's. What you doing?
Right.
Like one of
But
those, like, why did
like
Jim
Cam didn't
accept it?
shit. He didn't shit on you, right? He didn't shit
Yeah.
on Jim, but he was just
Yeah.
like that was a chess
It
move.
was
It
just a
didn't
question. It was from
it
2007.
right.
Like it was one of those things where it's
Facts.
like, I just want to know. I'm curious at this point. I didn't like once again, full disclosure, I didn't watch the whole interview, but I don't know if they were talking slick about him, but I just know Jim pretty much was on some yo, they've been on my dick. Every time I wake up, they on my dick. Which
Oh,
seemed
that's
like
what
an
Jim said in
escalation.
response to that.
That's what started the 50
Ah,
and Cam to
okay.
even be on this. And my from what I know, it could have been something else. Because
Oh, so 50
Justin,
responded to him saying they've been on my dick.
yeah, maybe that was
Ah,
after.
okay.
So
That make more sense.
I think the timeline, if I'm not mistaken, bookworms can fact check us. 50 goes on Cam show. They have that talk that gets brought up. Justin LeBoy is interviewing Jim Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah,
that gets brought up. And I think Jim pretty much saying, like, yo, that didn't go down the way they saying it. So I think Jim's issue was the way that 50 said things happened didn't happen like that.
didn't happen that way.
They didn't happen that way. And it kind of seems like they're trying to be funny And then I think
Mm.
50 might have made a post, or Cam might have made a couple, said a couple things, and that's when the whole "oh, they been on my dick" shit come. And then once you start bringing Frank talk into the situation,
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
it's all off
There's
the
nothing.
rail.
Yeah, and ain't no coming back from that. I just thought it was interesting how Cam even responded. Like for Jim didn't really sound like he was speaking out of turn, I feel like, when he was like, I seen Mace shit on Cam. And now you
Hmm.
sitting up there, y'all do the show together, it's cool. Like now you opening the door for Cam to go do what he did and say, nigga, you been a fan. Like you've been around. Like so it's again, I agree with you. Just a weird situation all the way out, especially with them being this age. Um, I would have preferred they just left it as is, man. I don't really
Do
want to
you?
see.
I guess once again, not what actually happened. That isn't the fascinating thing to me or the interesting thing. Thing is how they handling it. And I think one thing that I have to remind myself is we're in real time. We're growing up with hip hop.
Facts.
And I don't think people really understand that or can really adjust to that. It's hard to grow up
Hmm.
with something when you knew it from its pretty much its origin
In the
and maybe its
beginning, yeah.
golden years or the best of it. Because as we see, and we seen our parents evolve, we saw when rap came in the picture, they looking at us like, what are y'all listening to? Like, what is this?
Facts.
And here we are doing the same thing.
To the young kids now.
I can't even tell you a little such and such name, but I know he got something on the radio right now that I'm like, yo, what is this? But that's their evolution, that's their growth, right? The same way you got the melody growth, and all that kind of stuff, the new music and how it sounds different. It goes through its stages, and you got to respect it. I understand why my parents listened to that era of music most of the
Facts.
time because that's what they were comfortable with. I found myself listening to my era of music more so than anything else.
Hmm.
But with us growing with it, this is one of the first times that hip hop has grown too. You still rapping at 38? I'm 38, nigga. So is like, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
36 or 26, whatever the game said. The whole point was, it really was, and you know this, Spike. It was corny to be 35 plus rapping. You
Yeah.
still
Old and
rapping?
rapping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Like,
you
nigga,
rapping?
what you
What you
got
doing?
going
Get out
on?
of here. Now
Yeah.
Nas dropping heat, 48, 49, 50 years old.
Killer
You
Mike just
got
won a
Common.
Grammy.
Killer Mike just won a Grammy. Common. We talked about the Common album for last year.
Common
Freeway
album.
put out a
Yep.
great album. A lot of your favorite rappers now, if you remember, they in their mid to late 40s. Your
Hmm.
Two Chainz, your Rick Rosses, all those people, even
Facts.
Push like
Jeezy,
44. Like these are
Push. Shit, J. Cole finna be 40, ain't he? Is he that
he'll be
old?
40, he'll be 40 this month, 1985.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
40 this month,
Jeez.
January 28th. So
Damn.
my
Drake
whole point
40,
is, yeah,
37.
he
Damn.
30, yeah, 38, I think.
It's crazy to say. You stop
Kendrick
and
will
say
be
Jake.
38.
Like, that shows, like, what you said, talk about growing with hip hop. Like, we seen these when he was young cats. Now, these 40-year-old men, bro. That's
Yeah.
insane to think about.
But that's my thing though. So that's my point. I'm doing a long-winded way of bringing this all around. As I've gotten older and I've experienced life, one of the things that fascinates me is you think about getting older differently when you're young,
Yeah.
especially when you're a kid, like a child, and you think about
Hmm.
getting older and what that looks like. And then you high school age, and then you think about getting older. Then you get to your 20s, and now that you actually here in your late 30s, early 40s, I still feel, especially I still feel like I did at 16. Like I don't feel past mentally. I've grown. I'm a grown man. I'm matured. I'm evolved. Don't get me wrong, but just I still the same type of nigga. I could still be on the same bullshit I was on at 16. You know what I
Facts.
mean? Like I don't feel
You
like
don't
I'm about
feel
to be
like your
38.
age, right? When you
It
start
just
talking
feels like
about it,
I'm
saying
here.
it out loud, right? Exactly.
It's just a,
It's
yeah, today's
it's
version of
nowhere
me.
near like what you thought it would be when you were younger. Like you said, when you were growing up, you're like, hey, when I get 40, you thinking all of these things are gonna happen, these things are gonna change, and it's always like a smack in the face. Like you said, no, excuse me, not a slap in the face, but like you waking up, like, damn, nigga, I'm this. Well, I never imagined it would be like this when I got this age. So
It's
I agree
crazy,
with what
right?
you're saying 100%.
So since I've seen that, and since I'm right there, I started thinking to myself, if I still feel like I'm 16, do these niggas still feel the same way? And do they not see? Have they been so jaded, or have they been so famous, or in position of powers for so long that they don't know what it looks like? I'm more so talking about Jim than Cam, because I think Cam has always been Cam, but Jim always feels like he got something to prove. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm looking into that a little bit differently, but Jim always feels like he's doing something in response or to prove somebody wrong or to prove he's thorough. And I've heard the stories about Jim holding it down, all 10 toes, the whole nine. But I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where I'm like, if I'm 48 and I'm posting videos of me in the studio. We talk about on Spike. One of our issues that we'll talk about later today is we don't post enough.
Facts,
I couldn't
bro.
imagine having a group of grown niggas with me in the studio and recording diss songs and me rapping in
Post.
the camera. Like at 48, like I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just not how I want my life to go. And it just
Hey,
seems
bro.
it's interesting. It's interesting to view. That's all.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating to watch. I ain't gonna lie. Before we even was logging on, I was waiting on you. I was on TikTok, just the band and shit going on. I couldn't even figure out how to record, bro. I felt like, bro, like I know it's probably really simple, but I was just going through. I said, like, what would this look like? Because I took that picture that we had yesterday, with Bobby. That look,
I've been
and I
laughing about
wanted
that
to,
all day.
bruh. I wanted to have the face back there and record over it, so because I be seeing people do that. Bro, for the life of me, it took me 15 minutes. I'm like, how did that? And I could not figure it out. So it just
Yeah,
speaks to you. You lose a technology sense a little bit as you get older too. But like you saying with Jim, I couldn't imagine doing that, bro. That would be the last. I guess it's his job per se. I guess you could say that, but
yeah,
still, man, it's tough to figure out.
yeah. And to
Tough to
Jim,
figure
and to Jim's credit, that's not a Jim Jones thing anyway.
out.
That's
Mm-mm.
anybody who puts too much information on the internet, especially when
Hmm.
nobody's asking you about it. It's just one of those things. I
Facts.
saw a video today that was wild. Like just and she's telling her truth, so you can't be mad at her, but it's like, yo, like relax. Like, why are you telling us
Facts.
this? Like, we do not need nobody needs to know this.
I shouldn't even know this.
Yeah, nobody should
You're
know this. Like
oversharing.
this,
You're
yeah,
oversharing right now.
exactly. Like, dude, you need to go to a therapist, like not the internet. The internet is not your therapist.
Man, that's
Um,
people that just like talking, looking at the camera, talking and feel like, man, this shit crazy.
yeah, I don't know, man. I just trust me. I'm always gonna be the friend. If we get once we get to that age where it's really unacceptable, because still young out here. It's not a. But once you get to that age where things are really unacceptable, I'm gonna be like, yo, man, take that shit down. Like, stop. What you doing, bro?
Facts.
Like I'd have told you,
Oh, that's
especially when you
facts,
messing
bro.
with somebody like Cam at 50, because that just ain't gonna stop. They don't have. They have that in them. I don't have that in me to keep going. I got a
Yeah.
boy, man. Shout out to my brother Barks, man. My nigga Barks is listening. Barks sent me a good voice note about last week. We're gonna get into last week's
Shout out
episode
to Parks,
before.
man.
Uh, I always talk about Barks, man, in the sense of don't engage, man. If it's Barks is one of them people, he got time. He got time, man. He can be
He gonna
the
go. He gonna go with
he can be
it.
on go mode, but he don't mess with nobody. He don't mess with nobody.
Yeah.
But if you want to take it there, it's getting taken there, like your 50s, like your Cams. And I always tell people, man, just don't engage. Just stop, bro. Just stop, because he's not gonna end it. And he's gonna get more disrespectful every single time. Like you gonna want to fight him. You gonna want to fight him. He gonna get that reckless and that disrespectful with shit.
I
He
respect
gonna be
people
his
like
Tony
that though.
Soprano. He gonna do his Tony
He gonna
Soprano,
do Tony thing.
and he gonna be looking at him like Bobby, like who you talking to?
I
But nah, man,
respect it.
that's my brother, man. But it's just always funny because there are certain people like that where it's like, you know what,
And you
you
know it's
got
gonna
it,
go too
you
far.
got
It's
it,
gonna
you
go too
got it.
far.
It's not even
Yep.
worth me arguing with you. You got it. But
Thanks.
either way, man, I don't know. Hopefully, we can all grow and mature
And these
together.
brothers look silly, man. I hope, and this is still crazy to say too, but I hope nothing even more reckless happens from this. And I ain't talking about no shoots or nothing, but I'm of the believing, and I was saying this in our group chat, like I feel like Jim Jones will put hands on Cam. That's how,
Oh,
to
a
your point of
hundred,
what you were
a
saying,
hundred percent,
bro. To your point of what you're saying, because Cam will go too far.
100%.
Just like he damn near did in the intro to calling him Jomo from the Bronx, and you're a fan. Like Jim, I see Jim Jones in the gym every day. I know why he's in the gym. He want to put hands on
Method
people.
man just punched a 28-year-old in the
Knocked his
face
daughter
seven
out. Yeah, I
times.
mean, excuse me, knocked this nigga that fucked with his daughter out.
7 times. They said 7 times. These niggas in
Yeah,
the gym, and
Method
I've
Man
been in the gym. I
52.
feel it. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
Method Man
bro.
52. Like, come on, bro. But like I'm saying, like Jim Jones not gonna play with Cameron if they. But I don't think they're gonna be in the same place. But Jim not gonna play with Cam like that. Like it's not. And I ain't saying Cam no big. I ain't saying anything derogatory about Cam. I'm more so speaking to Jim. Like Jim not gonna play with him like that.
Every story I've heard about when it's time for business and Jim Jones was
Business go.
involved,
Yep.
even people that don't like Jim Jones have told stories about, yo, like
Yes.
I was actually impressed. Like him showing up to spots dolo or with two people when he noticed 20 people in there. Now that might be not be the smartest, but it's just letting
Facts.
them
But
know
I'm doing
he
it.
ready for whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I think he will. I don't think that. once again, I don't think they were really friends, and it's probably old. It's probably due. Like sometimes you got to get into it with somebody, or you got to let that out somehow, some way. I don't know if it's a toxic man thing, whatever you want to call it. But a little squabble will never hurt nobody. Hopefully, they dap up afterwards
Yeah.
and they can keep moving.
Quick little
Um,
fade. Quick
yeah,
little
quick little
fade ain't gonna
fade,
hurt.
man. Never hurt nobody, man. It actually keeps everybody honest. Keeps
Facts.
everybody honest. Um,
I got one for you.
yeah.
This is just bringing some cross podding a little bit. Shout out to the people that listen to Is the Mic Still On as well. That drops on Wednesday over there with the Dead End guys, Mike, Ken, Rod, Beezy. Um, we were having a conversation over there, Rich. You may want to go back and listen to it after I asked you about it, just to hear the
Right.
context and tone. But I was being painted as a conservative right wing because of a comment that I made. Because of a comment that I made, right? So
Oh
the
man.
topic was Jay-Z and him introducing cryptocurrency, like that little workshop that he did in March or whatever, gave everybody crypto or whatever it may be. And he gave him like $25 in crypto. And my man Mike, shout out Mike, man. I love pod with Mike. I'm gonna have to make that connection with to get you and Mike on a pod together, man, because that's gonna be good pod right there. But
Is that Sopranos?
yeah, that's the one that don't like The
Okay,
Sopranos.
okay, okay, okay.
AJ's his favorite character to give you some
What's good with you,
context.
Max? That's wild. What's good with you,
That's
Mike?
yeah. So Mike was like, that shit don't help nobody, right? He was like, that shit that ain't Jay-Z doing what he could. He's like, nigga, if the juxtaposition was if I'm somebody that's struggling out here working two jobs and you know what I'm saying, I'm check to check, if I can make it check to check. You know what I'm saying? I really need help. Nigga. And it's because of an oppressive system and it's because of I didn't have a head start like, white people or may other people, the people who had money had a head start. This type of person, right? And he was saying that shit that Jay-Z doing don't help a person like that. They need immediate action, which is true. But I also said, I was like, bro, the thing with something like that is what Jay is trying to do, in my opinion, being a billionaire is first and foremost, before I give you anything like a handout, I have to change your mindset. Like you have to be able to know and handle a blessing before you get a blessing. Otherwise, you're just gonna blow the blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like that was defined sound logic.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, so
Makes
you got to
makes sense to
change.
me.
Makes sense to me. And I was like, so you have to change your mindset when you're in positions like that before anything. Oh man, he lost it. He's like, Spike, if you tell a nigga that ain't got shit, barely making it his job, hate his job, the first thing you need to change is his mindset, that nigga gonna want to smack you.
See, this is late. Keep going, because I've already got my response ready. I
So
already know what I'm thinking.
I was like, yeah, that's true, bro. However, you may not want to hear it. You're still gonna have to change the mindset. And then we got to talking about like, so we brought up, so like, what is that person doing on a day-to-day basis? Like, why are they not able to,
That's
get to a better
exactly what I
position?
was. That's
You know what I'm
exactly what I was
saying?
about to start bringing up next.
And he was more on the tip of, well, it don't matter why they're not able to. Like he was blaming more so the system. He was blaming more so like they were put behind in this position. So that's the reason that they're there. And it's hard to get out, which is true. However, there's still a mindset change that has to happen if you're gonna change your situation. Like you can't like niggas can't no one's coming to save you, like we've said before. Like niggas can't plan on hitting the lottery or hitting the fucking numbers and that changing their life. Like it gotta be small day-to-day steps. Like nigga, if I smoke cigarettes, I gotta cut these cigarettes out. If I'm broke and I'm like smoking weed and can barely pay my bills, I gotta stop buying sex. Like those are just small things that have to happen in order for you to start putting yourself in a better position. And he just would not bow down to it. He was like, "You
Hmm.
gonna tell the nigga that's working stressed out that he got to stop buying weed? Yeah, you're gonna have to if you
Yeah,
want to
I mean,
change, or you can stay in that position, whichever one. But before somebody gonna come bless you, or you expecting Jay-Z to give you a blessing that's gonna change your life, you have to change your mindset. And I think that was pretty straightforward, but it was a great conversation
definitely,
though.
definitely want to listen to that. Shout out to Mike, because I understand from what I know, it's not your words directly, but from
Mhm.
what Spike Lee was portraying, I understand your mindset and where it comes from. I think the first thing to do is acknowledge that Mike is correct. Like it is a system issue, and there are bigger things going on. Um, and there's a lot of questions that go into that as to why somebody is. If anybody's read the book The Color of Law, I definitely recommend that. It's a good read. Kind of talking about how projects became the projects, red line, and everything else.
Well, I need to
This is
read
all
that.
this was all planned, right? So it's not a surprise, and that goes into the poverty line and certain demographics just not having as much to when it comes to income, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to just ownership, properties they can pass along, everything else. You could talk about the everything that happened in Tulsa with Black Wall Street. Like, there's a ton of stuff that's prevented us from slavery, of course, everything from to where we are. Um, and that could be a conversation that lasts forever, right? The issue is we're here. Nobody asked to be here, but we're here, and we have to find a way to figure it out. And that's the sad reality is there's just gonna be people that don't make it.
That's the thing.
And
And I
I
was like,
and it's just the acknowledgement, and nobody wants to say the quiet part out loud. But that's just so when Dr. Umar got that famous clip when he said some niggas gonna have to be put down for good. I understood it's fucked up, but I understand what he means because not everybody gonna care about being positive and changing your neighborhood and taking the next step. They don't care. They're gonna be more of a hindrance or more of a detriment to their community than they are a positive. And sometimes the best
facts.
thing is when sometimes those communities are safer and they're better when niggas go to jail and when they out the picture because they don't bring anything positive. And I want listen. We talk about the bails bonds and all that. I get it. I want to save everybody if we can, but not everybody's gonna get there until to the point of yes. Are you gonna tell the nigga that's working all day, got kids to support, behind on his bill, 3 months late on the mortgage, 2 months late on the light? You gonna tell that nigga to stop smoking because smoking is doing something to relieve his stress? My nigga, if you don't, then what else are you gonna do? Now you can have the mindset of stop smoking weed isn't going to help my full situation. You're absolutely right. But what's the plan? Kind of rolls into our episode today. What is your plan? Do you have anything
That's why I
written
brought it
down?
up.
And I know it's not, I know I'm making it sound real simple. I know it's not that simple, right? Because you behind the 8 ball 10 times over. And chances are you're never going to get yourself out of it unless you have a real solid plan or a generational talent that can really change your situation. But unfortunately, there are people who are in situations that they're just never going to come out of. And I don't know what the answer to that is. Now, I will say this. I get what he's saying. The $25, that's not going to do anything. But I think it does because to your point, Spike, the biggest gift that Jay gave in that situation, or any celebrity, anybody with influence or power, the biggest gift you can give somebody in that moment is their mindset change to let them know this is another way you can do this. This is going to be the wave of the future. Imagine if somebody told you, hey, buy this Apple stock. Imagine 1995 and somebody tell you to buy some Apple stock. You know what I mean? It's 1993, they tell you about Google. It's 1983 and they tell you, or 1993 in Google. If you 1983 and they tell you, hey man, there's this company called Nike out of Oregon, man, buy some stock. That's kind of what I look at that as. You might
Even
not
more
see it.
recently,
Yeah,
even
go
more
ahead.
recently with Nip. Like when Nip was telling people to buy crypto or buy Bitcoin specifically, it was 7,000. It's
Mhm.
$90,000 right now.
Yeah,
That was
like
5 years ago.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, exactly
Now,
like what
now,
you're saying.
once again, black people, a lot of people, or people, I won't even say black people, but people who don't have the resources, they don't have the time. And I think there was an episode of Atlanta about this. Like, nigga, I ain't got time to invest. I ain't got money to put aside to invest and watch
Facts.
it grow long term because I need this right
I need
now.
it now.
So once again, I don't want to minimalize the conversation about what's going on, but there is at the end of the day, I'm sorry, not everybody gonna make it. And if they can't
Not
change their
everybody gonna make
mindset,
it.
that's just kind of where we are. And you just got to worry about the ones who are interested in changing something and could contribute. And there is a game plan for trying to help those other people. I don't know what it is, and maybe we can all brainstorm together because I would love
Mhm.
to, but it kind of is what it is.
What I heard in my head and what I tried to regurgitate, but I couldn't say it as well as he did, is when we heard your man's on here, the financial advisor. What's his name?
Lawrence, shout out to
Shout
Lawrence.
out to Lawrence, man. Great episode. My mom still talks about that episode. But
What's
what
up?
Lawrence, he said something very profound as far as making a change if you don't like your position that you in. It's like, bro, you don't like your jobs. How many applications did you fill out this week? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like it's really small things like that that you start with to help you change your mindset. You ain't got to stop smoking. Like I smoke. Like I'm not
Same,
condoning. You know what I'm saying, against
same.
smokers. However, if there's situations that you're in where you don't like it, instead of just being like, "Oh, I guess that's life," or "Oh, it's me," somebody might save me someday. Like you gotta figure out the smallest thing that you can do to push the situation forward. And I feel like that's what develops that habit, like what we've talked about on here, for you to want and continue to do more. Then that changes your mindset. But there has to be a shift in thinking that has to happen for you to go from poverty to, okay, I'm semi-successful, to I've made it, to I'm well off. Like there's shifts in thinking that have to happen for you to progress through those levels. It's just other way it would be hopeless, right? Like if you waiting on someone to save you, if you waiting on good luck to happen, if you waiting on something, somebody to get rich that you know, or you to get rich off some fucking Hail Mary play, then it's hopeless out here. But
Hmm.
if you can say, I can take these small steps, it may take longer than I want to. I may not get as high up as I want to, but I know if I make adjustments, I'm going to be in a better situation. I know that's going to happen. Like I think you have to have a mindset like that in order to make it out of anything, anywhere. So,
Facts.
but
Shout out.
it was a really good conversation, man. Y'all want to hear it? Go check out Is the Mic Salon. I just sent you the link,
Not to,
Rich.
yeah, I just got it, man. I appreciate that. Not to regurgitate the conversation, but if Mike ever wants to come on and we maybe talk about some more things, because I think that at the end of the day, regardless of the conversation, the answer should be what's the solution. I think that's a lot of what we talk about here. And I'd love to see what that could be. And like I said, I don't want to trivialize the situation that people are in. I know what it's like uh, to feel like you live in check to check or don't really have extra money to do with the thing, or you robbing Peter to pay Paul. But I will say I can also look at other things that happen in life when I'm like, man, well, I'm actually some of that responsibility lays on me.
Falls
There were
on me
some things that
sometimes.
yeah, it falls on me.
Yeah,
There's some things that I did that I shouldn't have been doing, and I should have planned a little bit better or made certain different arrangements and not blow a bag on this or that, and I'll be in a better situation. But
facts.
sometimes there's situations that happen that is unavoidable, and you just hope you keep it pushing. So that's an interesting topic, man.
Yeah,
I
it was
get what he's
fun, man.
saying, but also
It was fun.
yeah, yeah. So I like that, man. So that actually, like you said, Spike, it kind of leads us into today's chapter, chapter
Yep.
16, which I mentioned Barks earlier, man. It felt good. I talked to school. Shout out to school, man. Had a real
Shout
good
out
conversation
school,
with
man. My
him
God.
the other day. Just talking about, man, you sound different, man. You sound like you in a whole different space, and I am. I really am, and I'm really determined and driven right now to get some things done. And it made me think about September, whenever it was that I came around for book one of chapter two. And we had episode one, which chapter one, which was the list, where we wrote down some things that we
Mhm.
wanted. It was like a 21 day, it takes 21 days to build a habit. What are some things we want to do 21 days in a row to build these daily habits? And we never got around to really circling back and seeing what we did and how we did. So I want to have that conversation about what we had. I went back and listened to that episode, wrote down what both you and I said, kind of have a conversation of if we where we are with everything
Mhm.
and really a call to action. Like I said, I think both of us are pretty smart brothers. I think people know that at this point, and I think both of us could probably say it's never going to be the idea. It's never going to be uh, the drive. It's just going to be the execution. And there's going to be some things in life where you just don't feel motivated to do it. How do I get those things done? And that's part of what I kind of want to revisit and talk about. And there's something I want to mention before we even get into these. And this is a good idea that I challenge you and I to do. And I'm
Okay.
going to do my part to be responsible by reaching out to you and making sure you're doing it because it can be very easy to forget. I want to start keeping like a little note, whether it's something on my phone of just accomplishments, whether it's throughout the week, throughout the month. I want to be able to look at January and see what went well. What did I do? What did I say I was going
Mm.
to get done? And what did I get done? Because sometimes, let's say you're filling out a resume,
Mhm.
right? And it's actually about everything you do. It's like, I don't know, what did I do this year? Or if I'm thinking, my job, there's some like my manager wants some bullet points. Like, hey, what did you do this quarter? And every
Mm.
time I'm like, damn, what the fuck did I do this quarter? I know I did stuff. I know I was
Right.
impactful, but I'm sitting here drawing a blank on what actually it was. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to actually start writing these things down as I go so I can look back. This is all the stuff I accomplished this year. Because I think a lot of times we just let the years pass and we don't really realize how impactful or how progressive we were. in our goals and our dreams. So I want to challenge, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, let's kind of look back and say, all right, what did I get done this month? What was I proud of this month? I know we talk about that a lot on this segment too. Um, a couple of things that I want to start with before we get to the actual list. One thing that I mentioned and we discussed in that episode, asking for help.
Mm, mm, mm,
That
mm,
is something I think that I'm getting better at.
mm.
Um, and more so in the in the sense of taking chances, like reaching out about certain things. Like, hey, put it like this: I'm okay with taking notes, right? A lot of times I'll just wait on things to happen and wait for that first move. I'm like, you know what? I'll make the first move, and if you say no, that's cool. And it actually led to some cool things, man. We actually Culture Garden got a real cool recording coming up this weekend, and it's all because I reached out to someone and it was on some I bet. All right,
Yes.
cool. Now we got this going, and it's something we discussed last year, so it kind of was manifestation. Um, but I don't know if I would have done that or reached out if I wasn't in that mental space. And I'm just ready to kind of just put myself out there a little bit more. Even when we talk about the social media stuff, there was an idea that I had that I want to make sure that I keep doing or keep actually execute this year. So I'm going to put that in there too. But it was just very interesting when I looked at that stuff as far as like the writing things down or asking for help and making sure you stick to the plan. So, what do you feel right now? Because I saw the look on your face when it comes to asking for help. Because we can't do any of this alone.
Facts. Um, I didn't progress as much as I would have liked to when we were having that conversation. I still
Hmm.
find myself in my old ways of I'll figure it out. Ironically, you say that I was just having this conversation 2 days ago, and it's I'm not blaming it on something. I'm really more so trying to understand so I can deal with why I don't like it, asking for help, and it just comes to how you was raised, I believe. Well, for me, in my case, like I come from like a single parent household, mom working two jobs. Figure it the fuck out was pretty much the sentiment. Like I don't know what you want me to do. Like you need to figure it out. And I kind of have carried that with me over into adulthood. So it's like if I can't figure it out, I don't really navigate that circle well as to okay, who can I call to help me figure this out? So yeah, room for improvement. If we're gonna grade each of these that we do it for me, how I from when we talked about it to now, there's definitely still room for improvement there.
Hmm.
Low satisfactory. Is that what it used to be at? Well, when you used to get the
Yeah.
report cards.
Yeah. Low satisfactory. I think that might
Yeah,
have been it.
something like that.
So let's talk about your list first and the things that you talked about. These are the things that you said you wanted to do. I think this was about September of 2024. How did
Yep.
you end 2024 with them? Whether it's good or bad, and if they are bad, what do you plan on doing to make sure this shit happens? No more time for talk. We got to make sure this gets
Facts.
put into action. So I'm gonna list them all off, and we'll just kind of go. First of all, you said working out. I know you wanted to do 4 times a week. You wanted to eat healthier, networking, which includes not just social media, but also
Face
kissing
in the
hand.
place.
I'm about to say
Uh,
kissing babies, shaking hands, the whole nine. Um, Budget your money, like spend your money wisely, be more frugal. Reaching out to friends, family, and loved ones. That's something you wanted to do. Just kind of be a little bit more consistent on sending a message, making a call. And then you wanted to take 2 trips to relax a year.
mm,
Not business trips, not I got to do this or this is work. 2 trips where it's dedicated to time off, relax. I'm chilling, whether I'm playing golf, whether I'm on the beach, whatever it is. Those are the things that you said you wanted to make sure that you got accomplished.
yep.
Out of those things, is there anything that you felt you improved on? And is there anything that you say, all right, I really need to turn it up and get better at it right now?
The eating and the exercising definitely. I like it. That has to happen immediately. Like it's probably going to be affecting my health if I don't. So I
Yeah.
have to start. I got to make time, and I blame it on having recordings and stuff to do every day. But you motivated me last week and saying like, once you start doing it, you do it. So I have to make that time, and I'm trying to come to the realization what you're saying. It may be have to be that 5 o'clock in the morning joint. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm gonna try to do it on Monday, cause it's Martin Luther King Day.
Hmm.
We ain't got to go into the office or nothing like that. So I'm gonna see if I can make that happen without having nothing to do for the rest of the day. Cause if it do throw me off, I can just give me a good little nap in there. But the eating and exercising is what I really, really didn't hold up to what I needed to on that. Gym membership is still back in full effect, so I'm going to start going to the gym. That has to happen for me. I want you to send me your workout that you do. Um, that way I can know I not be in there bullshitting, but I have
But
to do that. I need to be able to break a sweat and eat better on a daily basis. So those are the two that I say definitely need most help.
so would you say, because my first question would be, would you say that that didn't happen because of your schedule and the recordings?
It's because of my schedule and recording, and I've to be honest with you, I've never liked working out, even playing football and weight room for a whole period. Like we could we when we played football in high school, you could drop a class to lift weights. Like we had a whole like you
Oh,
get
stop.
credit for it. Yeah, you get a credit for it. Like nigga,
Tennessee
this
was
is this.
different.
Yeah, this basically was like nigga P. It's a PE credit, but if you ain't got room in your schedule, you could drop that class, still get a credit, and you nigga this whole hour you lifting weights. We got a routine for you, like you doing this way. And while I did it then because I enjoyed playing football and liked being strong and shit, I still
Yeah.
never liked it. I've never in my life liked working out. It's never been a thing for me. I can do like trails and hikes, like I can always do that because that intrigues my mind more. Like if I go, we got a mountain here called Stone Mountain, it's a
Yeah,
mile up,
yeah.
mile
You, you
down.
you you talked
Yeah,
about it, yeah.
so go do that. I can do that. I knock that shit out. I haven't been in a while, so I know I'm probably winded, but I still know I can make it to the top of it, even
So,
as
but
steep as
that's
it gets, because that intrigues my mind. I'm outside, there's nature around and shit. There's people there. When I go to the gym, bro, it's just like, oh god damn, like
but
it's just
that's
not
your
a place that I like to be.
that's your workout though. That's it. Like
That
so,
the amount,
just
yeah.
from hearing you talk, I realized something. You're not a traditional go to the gym,
Mm-mm.
lift weights, all that, and that's cool. That's cool. We talked about this in chapter one. We talked about how I suffer from the idea of, hey, my plan for the gym today was doing this, this, and this. Things happened. I got busy. I know I'm not going to be able to get all this stuff done, so I'm just going to wait until tomorrow. And then tomorrow gets pushed to the next day and so on and so forth. Versus, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do what I can. And that's the biggest thing that I would tell everybody, and specifically talking to you, just from listening to you, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
If on MLK Day means that you wake up at 5 and you knock out 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups and that's it, that's the starting point. That's all that
Mm-hmm.
matters. And then, all right, boom, we got one day knocked out. I told you about that
Facts.
book, man, Make Your Bed. The idea
Yeah.
of it is just start your day doing something you are productive. You got something off your list already, right? If you do that, do that. And then one day turns into two. I think a lot of times, and especially for me, so I don't want to project, you try to look at the gains or what you're really tangibly seeing instead of just saying, I want to build this habit first.
Facts.
So, and what I mean by that is a lot of people, let's say going to the gym, for example, right? Let's say bench press. Let's say you start off with those 45 plates. Immediately, it seems like the next day they go and work on chest. They want to build it up. They want to put those 25 on top of, bro, it don't
Almost
work
went to
like that.
45.
Takes you a while, man. Get your routine out, get
Uh,
comfortable, then start adding more weight. And I think that's one of the biggest things that happens. So there's nothing wrong with 2 weeks of just 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, or 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, because you moving your body, you getting there. Once you in the rhythm, that's when you start adding things on. But the first step is we got to start doing it. So don't even
mhm.
put that pressure on yourself. I got to get up. I got to drive somewhere. I got to do this. That's too much.
Facts.
Whoever's
Yeah.
in your position right now, they're not gonna do. That's way too much work. It ain't worth it. Like I said, who was I talking to about working out recently? And I just said, man, the hardest thing about it is you don't see the results. You want to go. I was talking to school actually. The conversation we were just having. You want to go to the gym, and as soon as you finish, you want to get on that scale and see the difference. You want to take the shirt off, but it don't
You want
work
to do
like
the
that.
little muscle flex and shit like that?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's out there seeing that Apple commercial for the Apple Watch, but they talk, and I didn't know this. I looked it up. It's a real thing.
Oh,
Quitting
that's
day.
fire. That's a
That
fire
that
commercial.
yeah, but and it goes to what we're talking about though. Just something that's gonna remind you, writing something down, having a goal down, that's just gonna motivate you, right? But that's a real thing because, like I said, that's one of those things where I can go for 2 weeks in a row and really be busting my ass, and I'm still not gonna see the results. You might feel a little bit different, you might know you headed in the right direction, but if it's not enough to you, if you don't care enough, because we're not competing for no championship rings, we ain't competing for no Olympics, so it's easy for us to be like, you know what, man, fine, I ain't got to go to the gym. But we're
Right.
competing for longevity. We're competing to
Facts.
break that cycle of being the group with the shortest lifespan, all of that. So just start slow and just do the same
Yes.
thing for 2 weeks, and that's it, bro. Like I said, you ain't got to leave the crib. Get out
That's
of
good
bed,
advice.
do some push-ups, 20 of them, just 20. Because I
That's
know what
good
it's
advice
like
right
when
there.
you ain't lifted. Because I know what it's like when you ain't lifted in a while. Doing them 10 push-ups is like, yo, what the fuck is going on, bro? Now I can knock them out like whatever, but it takes a while to get there. So
Hmm.
don't try to do it all at once. Start slow, and then see if you can do 20 a day for 2 weeks in a row. And now your body and
Hmm.
your brain is on some, I bet we
I
on it.
need that now.
I
Yeah.
need that now. Now
Facts.
I'm gonna feel weird if I
If I
don't do
don't
it.
do that.
And then you're gonna get to the
Facts.
point where it's like, hey man, these 20s a breeze. Nigga, I'm ready for 25, I'm ready for 30. And then the weather's about to break. I bet weekends here, I'm about to go to Stone Mountain. Boom, I got my workout in there. So you getting it because here's a big reminder, especially when it comes to fitness. People say it and it's true. 80% of this shit is what you eat anyway. That's gonna be the
Hmm.
biggest part for you to focus on. The
Yeah.
workout is get your workout in how you get it. You can not work out and just change your diet and see differences. You
Facts.
get what I'm saying? So like the hard
Hmm.
part is gonna be your eating habits, but not the workout. So I think like I said, that's my as far as we talk about just getting up and doing it, just do it, bro. Don't worry about having to put gas in the car to go to the gym. That's too much mentally. 'Cause if you ain't engaged, I've been there. That's how I got to the
Yeah.
point where I was. 'Cause I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm staying in
Right.
bed.
That
I'm
don't,
staying in
don't matter
bed.
to me. I'm rolling
Yeah,
over.
that
Nigga, it's warm
doesn't
right
do
here.
any exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Especially this time of the year, shit crazy.
Facts.
And eating healthier. I don't know what you got planned for that. Like, what's because you talked about it. You was like, man, I need to start meal prepping.
Yeah,
I
I enjoy cooking, but that's another
yeah,
thing with the time. Like my problem is, and again, why I'm working on like maneuvering my schedule around some this year. My problem is I record Monday through Thursday. Like I do 15, 20 hours a week. This is like a part-time job for me. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So I don't I do have the time from when I get done working my regular job until I start recording, but I'm being selfish with that time and wanting to rest because I'm not getting enough rest at night. So I'll try to close my eyes for an hour. You try to close your eyes for an hour. Now I got an hour to get something to eat before we start recording. So that goes up to the sleeping habits and the things of that nature. Maybe what I need to be doing is going to bed early if I can. That way I don't need that nap for an hour. I can grab some stuff from the store on Sunday, go down, cook a quick meal, and boom, we're doing better than that. But just poor planning, leading to piss poor performance. That's
that's
what it's
a
mostly been for those.
that's a tricky one. Yeah, I was gonna say because there's only 24 hours in the day, and it's
Facts.
funny. It's funny, man, because we just talked about the gym, and today was one of those days. It was snowing, like one of those out of nowhere snows where you look out the window like, what?
Like, damn, it's snowing.
And I was like, damn, well, I ain't about to go to the gym in this. And it was just one of those like, man, I'm just gonna chill today. I'm just gonna
Hey, you're,
relax. I'm just gonna chill.
first of all, you're a beast for living. I don't ever want to live in a city where unexpected snow is like the norm. Like,
Nah,
oh, it's
man.
snowing outside. Like, no, nigga.
Every
That
single
snow came
time.
down to Atlanta this weekend. Well, I was pissed. Like, that's one of those things when you get older. Like,
Hmm.
I ain't like when you young. Like, nigga, even from young going outside to play in the snow to preteen, I ain't got to go to school. I can sit in here and play Madden all day because, like, who doing anything? You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
now, snow is just like the biggest inconvenience to you as an adult. Like, this is just a
Especially,
real inconvenience, bro.
it's probably more
Especially down
inconvenient to
here,
you.
not to
I was gonna
y'all,
say,
especially down here. Like, y'all
literally took
good.
the
Like,
words out
y'all,
my
yeah.
mouth. Literally took the words out my mouth because at least we used to it. It's even more of an inconvenience when it's something that doesn't happen all the time.
It's
But
crazy.
what I was about to say was I was I was like, man, I ain't gonna go. I ain't gonna go. And then my
Yeah,
schedule, I had a 3 hour window where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the gym.
I can go to the
Now,
gym.
here's the reason why I'm bringing this up. I don't subscribe to the I'll sleep when I die mentality. Like I like my rest, and I think rest is important. We talked about it before, man. You can't be good to others if you're not good to yourself. One big part of it, because I'm somebody who has bad sleeping habits, and what I mean is, for a long time, I could run off, or I can't say could, but I would run off of 4.5, 5 hours sleep, and you can see the difference when you get seven compared to that. I
Facts.
don't know if I'll ever get eight, but seven usually is about a
Six
good
is
sweet.
at our age, six and a half is mandatory. I
Yes,
have to have 6.5 hours of sleep.
yeah, seven, and I try to plan my days that way, but. I was sitting there and I was like, man, I want to go to the gym, but I can make up a workout. I don't think anybody has to be in that position where it's like, man, I got to grind. If your body needs rest, rest. Do that. However, there was something in my mind that said there are people who will there's going to be people who look at this situation and they're going to say, I'm going to find a workout later. Like I'll move this workout to another day of the week, or or they'll say, I'm going to find my rest later. And I chose the option of I'm going to find my rest later. Whether it's I have to
Mm.
go to bed an hour earlier than what I normally do, but I want to make sure I get this workout in, just not to break the chain of what's going on. Because for me, I know how easy it is to say, I had this schedule today, I didn't do it. Now tomorrow, it's like, all right, man. Well, the week's already a little bit chopped up anyway. I'll just go ahead and get back to it next week, so on and so forth. Nothing wrong with saying if I stayed at home and said I ain't working out, I would have been cool with that. But mentally, it was just something for me to just say, you know what, I can still get this rest. I might not be on the game. I might not be watching sports later on. I might just call it an hour early. But
But I
that's
can
just a
still go just
mentality
lay it
switch.
down. Yeah, facts.
Yeah, man. But yeah, when it comes to you got to plan all that stuff out, and that's the
Yeah,
hardest part, especially with a schedule like yours. It's gonna be crazy.
yeah.
Um,
Those were the most. Those are the ones that bothered me the most that I didn't really get accomplished like I wanted to. To take a trip, I got to go home for both holidays this year, and I really like enjoyed that. No work, got to relax, be around moms, be around her husband and his family, and my family, and just got to have fun. Like rented an Airbnb, family doing TikToks and cooking and shit like that.
I saw
That
that. I
was
saw
fucking
that. Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, all of that shit was amazing. So I really enjoyed that. So those were the two trips that I did get to take. I did get to do that. I do get to talk to
But
family more. Go ahead.
let me ask you about the trips.
Hmm.
Is that what you had in mind? Just when you say trip, did you just mean like some downtime where I can just chill with the people I love, or were you actually looking for?
It was a combination.
Okay, got you.
I'm still looking for like we can do the boys trip to Colombia or Dominican Republic or me doing a solo
This
trip to
nigga,
go play some
this nigga.
or me
Why
doing a
you name them
solo trip.
places, man? Why you name them places?
I didn't know who was gonna catch that. But yeah, I'm down to do the boys trip to either one of them places and or if it's just a solo trip with me playing some golf somewhere like in this time of year, Arizona or Vegas,
You
maybe
know
the
what I thought
Carolinas.
about? Uh, you know what I thought about something that I could see Spike Lee doing. I was in Phoenix last March.
Hmm.
Last March, I was in Phoenix, and if I'm not mistaken, that might be around the same time they had like that
Yeah,
the
that's
garbage
the waste
man,
management.
waste
Waste management.
management.
Hmm.
Bro, I was like, I could see Spike Lee coming out here and
Oh
just
man, but come on, listen.
having the
That's
time of his life.
I'm going to do that. Like that's on my list. That
Yeah.
waste management cup. They say this it goes down like
Nah, I
literally
say it
there.
go
So
crazy. They had to, yeah, they went nuts last
yeah,
year. They were just letting
yeah.
people
So
in. It gets crazy.
yeah, I'm definitely going to that. We might have to hit that too if you're interested, Rich. But so yeah, in the trips, that's definitely a part of it too, though. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the ones that I took, and they weren't expected because I usually don't go home on both holidays. But as you get older, I know I've said this, I'm beating a dead horse here. I've been saying this on this platform. Like, just spending time with your family is like that shit priceless at this age,
Yeah.
man.
It's
Like just,
important.
and we like being around each other. It ain't the family where like my family and the family like well I can't stand being around this person like my core family my mom my cousin but my cousins and shit like that like we just have fun like we talk to each other you ain't nobody's uptight motherfuckers say whatever they want to say nobody gets offended because that's just how we are and it's enjoyable to be around because that ain't the same energy that you just get out in the world so I really appreciate that time around him so that though while those two trips may not have been necessarily ideal to what I had in mind they definitely counted for me because I don't
Happy,
usually
yeah.
do it and it made me feel good so yeah
Absolutely.
that was
I
one
love
thing
that.
to it
I love that,
um the,
man. You mentioned your family. You say you are talking to them
yeah
more.
I probably haven't been talking to friends as much because of my schedule. Like I just don't have like when people hit me, I'm recording usually. So I just don't have the time. I know me and Scoops ain't been talking as much as we have. Me and Dro will text a lot and just kind of get our thoughts off that way. Voice notes. Me and my guy Sam will do like it's been a lot of voice notes. I'm still pushing for I need to be the person that's generating these conversations. Like I'm
I got
hitting,
you.
like I did get to do that with one of my homies, and he expressed it that he noticed it. He was like, "Bro, I appreciate," because he had just did a career switch, and he walked off. Well, he didn't walk off, but he switched jobs, and he wanted to do something else, but he did that without having another job in mind. And he was just
Mm.
explaining to me how that was going and what he was thinking about doing. And when he told me he did that, I made it a point to call and check on him at least like every other week during that process, and this is like a three month process. And he said, "Man, I appreciate." He verbally expressed it. I appreciate, like, I've noticed you reaching out, asking how I'm doing, making sure that I was good. You know what I'm saying? Just shooting the shit with me, yet also checking on my progress, making sure I'm not being stagnant in the journey that I'm on. Like, I appreciate you doing that. I've noticed you doing that. So yeah, shout out to Sam. We definitely, that was definitely one that I got to check off to do as far as his case. But I want to do that with one of my homies too, though. I want to be able to
Yeah,
like have those conversations, and I want them to feel comfortable doing it with me. I think a lot of times people don't feel like they can call and just have those type of conversations with their friends and homeboys, and I want to make that more the norm versus like
yeah,
this weird.
yeah. You
So
got to
I'm
be the
still working
leader,
on that too. Yeah,
be the
facts.
leader in it, and lead the way on it. Because obviously everybody got their own life going on, so just figuring out a way. Because we all, that's not a Spike Lee thing. I think that's an everybody thing, trying to figure
Yeah,
out how
like
to have those,
how
just
often
fit
do
that
we
time in.
as
Yeah.
yeah, as black men, how often do we ask each other, man, how you doing? Like
Hmm.
me and you do it, like, because we actively do this show, so it's on our mind. But I'm thinking like with my other homeboys, I don't know the last time I asked AB how he was doing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I don't like I talk to him on a weekly basis. We do the podcast. We'll text stuff back and forth. But just people that you care about, you should be able to have that like reach out and like, hey man, how you doing? And I don't know. And if you don't want it to, I shout out to Portia. I seen this on her story because I come from the same type of family. I don't come from a emotional family. Like we are
Hmm.
emotionally detached, nigga. Somebody was crying in my grandma wake. Like we are looking at her like, bro, what you on? Like that. That's how emotionally detached we are. You know what I'm saying? Like she died a year ago. What
Uh,
you still crying for? Like that's how my family get down. But with that being said, it don't even have to be sappy. And when you call in to ask your homeboy, like, you good? Like me and you do that in a very cool manner in the sense of like it ain't gotta be deeper than what it is. But if you want it to be deeper than what it is when I ask you that, feel free to go there too. Like I'm opening the
hmm.
door for however you want to respond. We got to get a lot more comfortable as black men doing that, I think.
Absolutely. It's funny because I
You good
just
question need to like that's one of the themes of the year for me. You good? Everything good?
right, yeah, everything cool with you? I think maybe a week ago, a little bit less than that. Within this past week, I posted a video, and it was Trevor Noah talking about there's something, there's a term called liming when it's just,
Mm.
get over, we gonna lime today. You call your friends, we gonna lime. And liming means you literally don't do, there's no plans. Like
Mm.
it's not coming over to watch the game. It's not literally, we can sit on your couch, we can talk. Hey, he said it. There's gonna be times where we talk. There's gonna be times we don't talk. We can get some food. We can do
Hey,
whatever. Like, but there's no plan. Let's just be in each other's presence and see what happens.
bro,
Like
that was
without
me and
having
my
to do anything.
homies. That was me and my homies' life from 2004 to 2008. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna pull up.
just
Whatever happened today gonna happen. Like we outside. Like whatever happened today is
yep.
gonna happen. We just gonna pull up and be around. So yeah, that's dope, right? The liming.
Yep. Liming. Yeah, I'll send you the video because it's
Yeah,
really dope. And I'm a big Trevor Noah fan and just the way he looks at
yeah, I
life
like
and
him.
his experiences. But it just makes you put things into perspective of it doesn't always have to be something. This is something I'm bad at where I always feel like every check-in has to be something profound or something like, oh, if I'm calling, it got to be an hour phone call. I'm like, nah, bro, it could just be a quick
15
text.
minutes.
Want
Yeah,
to make
what's
sure
up,
you're
bro?
good or a quick little 10 minutes. Hey, man, I just had you on my mind. Just want to hear your voice. You good?
Yeah, oh, I
And
heard something that
then
you might thought was interesting. Like, man, let me tell you about what happened. Let me share this with you. All of those things.
yep. And then based on what's going on or the mood of the call, that's how you know how long the call's gonna be.
Facts.
Sometimes it could be 15 minutes, sometimes it could be an hour, but it don't feel like an hour. So don't overthink it. Sometimes you just need those moments where I'm just about to pull up. I don't nothing, want nothing. Ain't no game going on with you, like whatever. If we sit here in silence and that's what it is, we if we find something to talk about, that's cool too. But it's just the intentionality of that I thought was pretty cool. So I'll
Ain't
send that
nothing
over
better.
to you,
Ain't nothing better than people you don't have to talk around and don't feel uncomfortable. That's
no
like for
doubt.
me. That's one of my fave. Like we ain't gotta force no fake conversation or small talk, nigga. You know me, I know you. We can pull up and ain't nothing. Like I hate people that can't be in the car and just leave the radio on. Like they gotta cut the radio down. They want to talk. Like bro, cut the
Listen,
fucking music up, my nigga. Like I don't
yeah.
care nothing about all this.
I requested a quiet ride, my nigga. I always, and it's funny you say that, Spike. I've always told people for years. I say I can tell the form of relationship is going to be based off the quiet moments.
Yep,
If you can be
facts.
uncomfortable in the silence, then we gonna be good. Because there's a lot of
We
times where I
good.
ain't got nothing to say. I don't feel like
I
talking about
don't want to
nothing.
hear nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just chilling. Like, and that's what it is. And it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's just how I live my life, and that's cool. Um, I like that list, man. I like just going back and revisiting that. I appreciate you for being upfront about what's the things that you didn't do that well, and then making a plan because this is going to be a yearly thing, or not a yearly, but something we work on throughout the entire year. So it's not like, hey, we're gonna have all the
Hmm.
answers right now, but now it's on notice. Similar to what
Facts.
Spike mentioned about last week. Hey, what's the one skill you're working on? Now it's on notice. It's been on my mind all week. I
Yep.
came up with an answer.
You got
I
one?
don't know. Yeah.
You want
Do
to do
you
that
want to
after the
talk?
list?
Yeah, we can do that after the list.
Okay.
Go to my list. I had meditation, word of the day, read 10 pages a day, the gym, stretching, getting more active on social media, as far as marketing and things like that. Finances, same with you, just being more frugal, just making smart or financial decisions, and then clearing out text messages and emails. So, and I talked about, I'm notorious for having a ton of messages in my inbox as far as emails. I cleared out over 20,000 emails so far.
Jesus.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, well, nigga, why do you have 20,000 to begin with?
Man,
Uh,
what?
I'm almost there. I'm talking about when I went back to the oldest email. I'm looking at 2011 in the face, and I'm like, what the? Why do I? It was like you just did. Like, why do you even have this? I don't even have to go through all of these. I can just auto
Just
mass
delete
delete
this
this page.
shit.
Yeah, because there's nothing. If I haven't looked at this in 13 plus
Oh
years, then I don't
yeah.
need it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So that's been actually I've been intentional about that, making sure I make time to do it. And the goal was to do 1 month a day. So I would go through my oldest one and whatever month, knock that out. And then I just got through those first few years, which sounds crazy to say out loud. I got through those easily. And it just makes you want to just be like, all right, cool. So now my email's clean. I still got a little bit of things to do, but it's clean for the most part. I unsubscribed to a lot of people that was getting junk mail from and all that. So now I'm only getting things, and as soon as I get them, I'm reading them, I'm deleting them, all of that. So I'm really functioning in that area. Still got to work on the text messages, but we there. Um, but
Wait,
social
you have
media,
your text message thing, your bubble, it got a number on there?
I don't look at. Yeah, it does have a number.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rich.
yeah.
You
I don't even want to say the number because I'm not even gonna say the
Hey,
number.
to have the permanent number on there is crazy. I always wonder how people did that. I was like, how you got text messages that you ain't read this in the
And
hundreds and shit?
yeah, it was bad.
But it's probably
Um,
group chats somehow.
Nah, even without the group, I just had.
Ah.
You just said that. I looked at the number and I'm like, oh shit. And then I went to the three main group chats. I usually keep them on mute. So
That's
the
how
three
I do
main,
my group
yeah,
chats.
the three main group chats. I took those off and it didn't make that much of a difference.
Damn.
Yeah,
Well,
it
you one
still
of those
does.
people though. I don't even expect a response from you usually when I text. Like unless it's like unless it's something that I'm asking you. Like I don't even really generally I generally don't even respect a response until like a couple of it may be a couple of days later or like we'll just talk about it when we talk to each other. But I usually let me shoot this over to Rich, just let him
Hey
look
man,
at it because I know
I
that's what
appreciate that about you, man, because that's definitely one of those things where I get it and then I'm gonna process it, and then when I talk to you, or I might circle back, and it's gonna be random. It's gonna be 3 days later, and I'm like, hey man, I looked at this that you sent me, man. I think it's like, oh shit, I bet I forgot I even sent that to you. Um,
facts.
but I mentioned it last year on another episode, man. Like I'm in a phase right now, and you kind of alluded to this. I'm in a phase of life right now where I'm very appreciative for my low maintenance friends and the
Oh,
grace that they
facts.
give me for not because they know me well enough to know that ain't who you like. I know you just busy and you trying to get some stuff off the ground and them being supportive, so that's dope. But yeah, that's just kind of what it is right now. But I have been clearing out those messages. The one thing I'll say that I haven't done that I told myself I would, and there's no reason why I haven't, is the reading. Right?
Mm.
The reading the 10 pages a day, that just seemed like a layup when I wrote it down. And I don't think I haven't really read much since I wrote that down. And I've got lists and book recommendations and I enjoy reading. And it's like, damn, like you got to get back on that. So tomorrow I'm going to start reading again. Just to kind
Any
of get
idea
things
what you're
going.
gonna pick up?
Our sponsor. I'm gonna
What's that?
reread it. I'm gonna reread Uncle Solis Ferrari. I think it's just a good book to start the year with.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I actually was running that back.
yeah,
I made it. I need to order a hard copy of that. You're right. Like I've been listening to it, and listening to it is amazing. But I need to. I'm gonna order a hard
yeah.
copy of that.
I've
We need
I've
to
never
do it. We
listened
can
to
do
it,
it.
but I do have a. Go ahead.
We can do an episode about some of the stuff in that book.
Oh,
I'd
for
love
sure.
to have a big conversation about that, and we'll bring because Dro recommended it to me, and he made what I really love about my homie Dro is like he ain't one of the he's not gonna leave that shit be. Like if I ask you to do something like
Yeah,
I'm gonna check back and I'm slick gonna be offended if you like nigga like you said you was gonna read it a week ago and he's gonna say that. Like you've been
right.
saying you're gonna read it. Why haven't you read it yet? Like that's a text that he'll send you.
Shout
So
out to
I
Dro.
really I really appreciate it because I would have never read I told him I was gonna read it because he suggested it and he then doubled down and suggested it again and doubled down and suggested it again. So I finally was like, man, let me be who I say I am. Like we talk about it here. And like I said I was gonna do this and I did it. And that shit legit changed my mindset. And like,
Let me
I
go.
can credit that as one of those books. Like, that changed my life. That shit
Yeah.
has changed my life, bro. Like, I think about shit totally different now as far as just like your purpose and your focus and how your thoughts should be throughout the day. There's this exercise that they mentioned in there, and you know because you read it. But like there's this exercise that they mentioned in there of like just keeping track of your thoughts, the negative
Hmm.
tracks, the negative thoughts throughout the day, the positive thoughts, and then when the negative, like there's a whole exercise that goes to how to get rid of negative thoughts, which I struggle with sometimes. So that shit was just fascinating to me. I haven't
Hmm.
implemented it yet. That's why I'm going through the second time around to try to implement some of those exercises that I heard in there. But man, shout out to the monk that stole it
You
for
and
that
you
sold it
know what
for
I
us.
just thought of? You know what I just put together just at this very second?
What's that?
It makes sense that you enjoy because as you're talking about it, I'm replaying the book in my head.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you love this book so much because of how much you love A Wonderful Life.
Yes.
A
Facts.
lot of it has the same
Facts.
that it makes
Facts.
sense
Yeah.
because
Did you
you're
watch
that
that? Did
passionate
you
about
watch it this
that.
year?
I started watching it. I was watching it with
You
moms,
can't
bro,
get
and I
through
ain't
it?
gonna hold you. No. That's not the problem at all. I had something. I had somewhere to be, and I almost canceled it because the movie was that good, and I was
Oh, you liked it.
amazed. I was amazed at how intrigued I was and how invested I was in it for a movie that's
Thank
that
you.
old.
That
I was
oh, that was the thing
amazed.
that got me, bro. I didn't see that shit until like 2019, 18, something like that. And I was like, this shit's interesting. This shit was done in the 30s, nigga. Like this shit was that good. It
That's
holds up
crazy.
hey, I
I
hope
was
you finish it, man.
fascinated by that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
That
going
shit,
to watch it because I had to. Everything that was going on. Like I said, it's. There, I had no business to be as invested as I was. Like, damn, what's happening?
bro.
What's going on next? Like, what's going on?
Facts, bro.
Did this nigga get his wings? Like all types of stuff. I was on it. Um,
Bro, that
but yeah,
shit's and
no,
you a movie person too, so I knew you would appreciate it.
yeah, I
God,
loved
this
it. It's
shit.
definitely I understood the hype within the first 30 minutes. I'm
I
like, okay, I
definitely
get it.
watched it again this year too. I watched it, yeah.
But I'm gonna start that tomorrow. No excuses. I'm gonna start reading tomorrow. We gonna follow up next week on next week's episode just to make sure.
I'm gonna
Hopefully
do
I
that with
finish
you.
the book.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna do that with you because I got a lot of books, physical and
audio.
audio that I want to listen to, but I'm gonna do that from a physical book standpoint.
Yeah,
In
man.
fiction and nonfiction.
The gym is something that I've talked about already. I've been working on that, so there's no need to go down that rabbit hole. Social media, I think I might have mentioned this last week, or it might have been a different platform. I'm on part of this social media content creator accountability group.
Yeah, you told me.
Okay, then got you. So I've added myself on that. I was just talking to Spike about this system that I'm using to kind of start making clips, and try to really just put stuff out there more and really just brainstorming and on the marketing side of things with the podcast and really trying to get things going. I'm in full confidence that it's going to happen. It's going to take me a little bit more time, but it's something that I do want to follow up with in about a month's time just to kind of see where things are from that perspective. But I am going to start putting things out, not just for, and I got an idea for myself. So not just for the podcast, but for myself as
Nice.
well. I think I found something that's within my lane that I feel comfortable putting together. That's not
Okay.
cringeworthy, like going to Target or setting the tripod up and
Get
watching me
ready
back
with
my
me.
car. Yeah, none of that. But it is going to be interesting, and I'm actually going to try, not try, but I am going to put something together towards the end of this month
I
and
have
a
one
couple
too.
times next month. So I'm definitely it's coming. It's coming, y'all. So I promise
Nice.
that's going there. So the social media thing has been a big presence, and the last thing is going to roll right into um the topic that you brought up last week, and as we get ready to close out of this, um, what's the one skill that you want to work on? right? And it took me a while to think about that. I'm like, damn, what is it? And I thought about one of the goals that I had last year, which was the word of the day.
Mm.
And I'm sitting there, Rachel and myself were discussing the movie Pride. We did an episode for the movie Pride with Terrence Howard, Bernie Mac, on
Mhm.
Culture Garden. And I'm not the biggest fan. Like the first 24 minutes of that movie ain't really I said it on the episode. It's just kind of a cliche sports movie. If I want to watch about sports and race relations, I'm gonna watch Remember the Titans or Glory Road or Brian Song or 42. All these other real life instances, just like Pride, things that really happened that had to do with that. They just seem a little bit more in touch for me. But I do enjoy the movie. But the point was, Rachel loves that movie, and when she was explaining it to me and really just kind of hit me with the rebuttal, I'm like, yo, Rachel could have been a lawyer. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I gotta shut up. I gotta shut up. You got it. You're right. You just convinced me. I'm looking at this movie differently now because of the way you presented it. And it made me as someone who's always been into public speaking, who's always English was my favorite subject growing up.
Mine too.
It's
That's
a it's
crazy.
yeah, man. It's one of that shit. This
That's
shit don't
insane.
stop. It's one of those situations now where it's like, man, the stuff that came so naturally. Like I find myself searching for words at times that would have just naturally came. Whoa, I was about to. This whole sentence was about to be nuts. I search for words that don't come as easy anymore to the brain, and it's
Oh,
just like, all right,
that's old age, bro. It's only gonna get worse if you
yeah.
decide.
But I also don't practice. I
Yeah.
also don't practice. I don't sharpen myself. I don't make sure that I use certain words. You know, there are words that I remember learning in middle school, and I just thought they were so fascinating that I've used them, and now they're still part of my everyday life that I'll throw around every now and then. And then it gets to a point where you stop doing that, and that's what, like you said, you start reading more, you start using better language. Think when you're more intentional about it, but adding those words to the day and really just starting to read. Really, I guess the skill would be. Um, Overall conversation,
Mm.
like enhancing my vocabulary and trying to hold better conversations with people. And I think I'm pretty good at that part. So I guess the main thing is the vocabulary. But I think that's a skill that I really want to work on this year
You
because
want to expand your vocabulary. You want to get your
I
TI
want
up.
to. I absolutely do
Expand your
because
vocabulary.
I
Yeah.
told myself that I would, and not to be extra with it, but really just to have a different word. I want to have a different word to use instead of because especially in this space, podcasting, there reaches a point where all right, man. I've heard this voice and I've heard the same thing for this long time. Like I might need something else. I might need a
Add some
break.
sauce to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you need to actually add a little bit of element, add some sauce to it, man, you need to expand on what you're talking about and have some new things to discuss. That comes with growth, that comes with life. But that's the one skill that I told myself last year, and maybe even towards the end of the year before that, I was going to work on. I never did, so I'm taking that seriously, and that's something that we're going to see a big change in from now to the end of the year.
Interesting. I love that. I feel like you'll be able to accomplish because I know what type of brother that you are. But the reason that I say it's interesting because even in this, we haven't consulted about it, and it's still, I think, a similar thing. For from what my skill is going to be, and mine was writing. I want to
Mm,
be able to like I just want to get more into back into writing. Like when I first started doing this, I would model myself after Bill Simmons, and of course, Bill Simmons was like a columnist as well as a podcaster. That's how he got his
hmm.
podcasting network. So I wanted to write about hip hop and write about stuff that was associated with On Deck, and even beyond the podcast, like be able to write a vlog or a blog about it. And I just fell out of doing it because I just started potting so much. I want to get back into writing. I went and bought a book with story prompts that like it'll give you scenarios and you just finish the story with whatever you have in
Oh,
your head.
snap.
It's really cool, yeah. So I
Like
bought
those
that
old
book.
Goosebumps jumps back in the day.
Yeah, like it's it's,
Like to
it's real fly.
pick your ending. Like you ever read those books
Hmm.
where you can just if you
Yeah,
want to do this, go to page 27. If you want to do this,
exactly.
go
You
to
want to do
page
this, go to the
30.
other
Yeah,
page,
I got you.
100%. So this book is full of story prompts and it'll give a scenario, it'll write out some stuff, and then you just finish writing the story. But I just want to focus on writing and get in my writing bag and make that a skill to add to the toolbox for Spike Lee at being in this space, being able to write a vlog, being able to the goal when I said this too and saying I want to do this, maybe even publish a book of short stories. I feel like a book of short stories would fit me. Also some nonfiction shit too, like a day in the life of or things of that nature. But I really want to get in my writing bag, be better at writing, write more stuff that I could share with people. I want to be able to do that. So that's the skill that I'm going to work on and get better at this year is being a better writer.
I like that, man. Um, I think that's a great start to what you have as far as getting the book, writing the story. Now it's going to be utilizing it and actually doing something. So, um,
A very high
what could
end
be
goal,
a
a very
go ahead.
high end goal from that for me is going to be a book of short stories, fictional, but also real, like real life situations and like just generalized culture stuff, like fictional characters, of course, fictional stories, but people stuff that people can relate to. I don't want it to be a long, drawn out novel at first. I just want like a collection of short stories. I used to be a big fan of short stories when I was in school. Like the teachers would read them, some shit that you can get read and
Yeah.
done in 5 to 20 pages into the whole big, thick ass book of short stories. So that's a very high end goal from this skill that I want to add. Then the low end goal is going to be like just like sharing writings via vlog or blog or just being able to write stuff in short form too about this. Another week in the books on deck TV. Anything, the Sopranos, short form thoughts about the Sopranos and things of that nature. So yeah, just getting in that writing bag.
I'm really looking forward to that. Have you started? Have you written? Have you finished one of the stories yet in the book?
I haven't. I
All
haven't.
right, so that's all right. That was gonna be my next thing. So when now? Put shout
Tonight.
out. As
That,
we
that
said,
like that's
put a
that,
date on it. That's gonna be
that's
the
the
thing. Put a
beautiful
date on
thing.
it.
That's the beautiful thing about this show. Like when I get done doing this, the version that you and I are doing, I will be a lot more reflective when me and Mo would get done. Like, damn, that's like that was a real good ass conversation. Well, I love this being in this space with you, Rich. It's like it's more like it's motivational. Like when I get done doing this, like when me and you get done recording, I want to go do the shit that we was talking about. Like,
Hmm.
so my plan is when we get done recording this, I'm gonna pick that book up. I'm gonna look over one and see which one I can start writing tonight. But there is by the end of January, I will have completed one of those stories. Like that, you
Bet,
can double back on me where we can write that
bet.
down. People have heard it, but yeah, by the end of January, I will have completed one of those prompted stories that's in that book. But again, that's the beautiful thing about this space, and that's the feedback your homeboy gave you. That's the feedback Mo has given us. I know Dro has reached out to me and said this. That like when you listen to this now, it's a feel of like, okay, nigga, if he's on his shit, I need to be on my shit. And then the people listening be like, if they're on their shit, we need to be on our shit. And that's the type of impact that I feel like is going to be phenomenal for us carrying throughout 2025.
Hey man, listen, I'm with it, and I appreciate all the feedback that we get from people because that's just the mentality. Like I told Lou, man, we just too talented, man, to sell ourselves short. If it's gonna happen, it ain't gonna be at
Facts.
our own accord, and I think that's what we're doing. I agree with you 100%. And I love the fact that we both know each other well enough to know it's hey, the talk is cool.
Yeah. What
Put
we
that
gonna
date
do?
on it, and now it's gonna follow up, and we owe it to each other tonight. We'll both be honest enough to say, "Oh, I slack," but
Yep.
ain't no slacking. We on it. So by
Facts.
the end of January, cool. We talked about the reading, and you're gonna be reading with me. So I'll be making sure that I reach out to you every single day on some like, "Yo, what's up, man? You read today? What's going on?"
Facts.
Just those little reminders to start building those habits. And yeah, I'm going to tomorrow morning. Actually, tonight. So as we press in, it's still got time in the day, man. Word of the day. I'll figure out what it
Facts.
is. I'm gonna make sure I find a way to mention it. And what I'll do is, whether it's in the group chat with me, you, and Mo, whether it's something I reach out to you, I'm gonna make sure that while I'm texting someone, I'm gonna use that word. That's gonna be
Nice.
my own form of accountability for myself. I'm not
Facts.
gonna
I
explain
like
that.
that.
Hey, this is the. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be on some. Hey, this is the word that I wrote. Nah, it's just gonna throw it in there. Hopefully, it's something that make y'all be like, damn, what's this nigga talking about? What word is this?
What's that
Um,
word?
yeah, but you figure out what it is, and that's just gonna make me. Because once you start using it, and then it becomes all right, then muscle memory. If you just read it once and put it away, what word was that I looked up? Nah, man. So I'm actually gonna get on that. So we got a good game plan. I'm looking forward to this, man. I really think it's about to be a good year, and I think this first month is just kind of laying the groundwork of how we want 2025 to look, and the rest of the months are gonna be putting that into action, discussing it,
Running a race.
discussing the
Running the
great things
race.
that happened, discussing the reasons why we fell short of some of the things we told ourselves we were going to do, and not to mention, of course, having great guests, having Portia segments to where we can, bullshit around a little bit, have some fun, and just, have meaningful conversation about things that are going on within the culture. But I think
Facts.
that's it,
One of
man.
these 2 weeks, we got to get Portia on.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
one
we
of these
definitely do.
last 2 weeks of the month, you got to get her
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, we
See how
definitely
everything
do,
going
man.
with the
I'll
pod.
get with her. I'll get with her. I'll get with her. I know she was a little bit under the weather, but she hit me up and
Mm,
said, I'm feeling better. I'm back. I'm about to do some reschedules. So yeah,
nice.
let's aim for that. Because I was looking at my calendar anyway. So we record on the 30th. So that's gonna be the date I'm gonna be asking you about the book. You said the end of January, so the 30th we'll be checking in, and then yeah, we'll see if she can come on that week, that Thursday. I'm gonna rap to
That'll
her
be
and
good.
see. And we gonna go from there. So we got chapter 16 in the books. Spike Lee, you got anything else before we get out of here?
Nah, man, this is great. This is exactly what this platform is for. Accountability, conversations. What you said at the beginning was perfect as far as the new tagline for it. So we appreciate y'all joining us and going on this journey with us. Rich, I appreciate you, my brother.
You already
I'm
know,
glad I
man.
met you, my guy.
Yeah, hey
Glad I
man,
met you.
couldn't say it, can't say it enough, man. It's kind of crazy. This is not by
Yeah.
coincidence. Everything's
No.
intentional, how it all works out, man. Instagram, add another week in the books. I am Spike Lou and K Rich
Yeah.
513. All of our
And let it,
Instagram tags. Hit us up.
listeners go to the IG and leave the comments, man. Let us know how y'all list going. I know some
Yeah,
of y'all
please
did
do.
list with us. You can respond to us, send us an email at awitb2022 at gmail. One of us will check it at some point. But yeah, y'all send over y'all progress on y'all list or just comment on the IG page when we put stuff up about how you progress on the list, man. And
Yeah.
we'll make sure that we read that on there too.
Yeah, for sure, man. We man, please. I know we said this before. I'm gonna keep reiterating it, and it's probably gonna get to a point where you know, be a little bit more tone in my voice. But we definitely want to hear from y'all, man, in a good way. We don't want to just hear praises. We want to hear everything that's going on. A lot of this stuff can help us get better. And this platform is for y'all. It's just as much y'all's as it is ours. Your co-authors, your bookworms. We want to make sure that we're giving you everything you need. And just to connect and chop it up, man. The same way Spike Lee mentioned, man, sometimes you're just gonna ask, you okay? You good? Y'all got brothers like that in us, whether we know each other or not. Black man to
Hmm.
black man. We just want to make sure everybody good out here. So please, man, don't hesitate to reach out if you ever need anything or ever want to discuss anything or have a topic for the show, or anything like that, man. We always willing to listen, man. Be more than happy to be engaged in those conversations. Hit us up. With that being said, let's be great this week. We'll see y'all for chapter 17 next week. Y'all be cool.
Peace.